Okay, so look, I just finished watching LUNARWASLOST. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't even know. Okay, I gotta restart. So when I first made my video about LUNARWASLOST, I was like, they started questioning the whole does God exist and all that. And I was like, this isn't gonna be it. But I really liked it. I really enjoyed the characters' personalities and stuff and all that. So welcome back to another video. My name is LUNARWASLOST, and right now, click off. There's spoilers. I don't want to spoil it. But if you want to hear how this pertains to real life consciousness, it's pretty wild. So I'm gonna make the comparisons right off the bat. I'm gonna do my best to explain it in my way of understanding, but I still want you to do your own research and make your own mind up. But of my understanding of this game and being reincarnated damn near 100 times over for my own karma, well, I really do know what's going on. Hopefully in the best way I can explain it. I only know what's going on for me, but reality is a reflection of who you're choosing to be. And smacked my mic. But the universe is a holographic universe, so all of this is projected from the mind, which now we're going to get into the show. So basically, at the end, Yuri is trying to hunt down why this person that's changing the code and making basically all the NPCs in that world become these shadows. And while trying to figure it out, she still thinks it's with this battle with Angel, but pretty much there is no battle with Angel. Angel was trying to help them basically ascend, so they stopped living their painful past. The reason they couldn't ascend was because they were holding on to their past. So what I've said in multiple videos is the same reason you keep reincarnating on Earth. The only thing that they changed from it, is they made it seem like you want to reincarnate here, which the Egyptians knew you didn't want to reincarnate here because the world that you can create after is up to you. And that is why I said the whole big basis and discussion they had about who is God, or was this God willed, was never answered, because it was them. It was literally them stopping them. You are your own enemy. So answering the whole God question for everybody is basically you are it. It's in everything, like Naoa says, though the one dude that kind of goes like I am God, and he keeps saying it, just like the other kid was saying, I want you to call me Christ. That's the same thing you have to realize here. There was actually a lecturer who taught this, and I should probably give him credit. I just reference his name so much you should know who I'm talking about by now. But he I don't know if it was his own lecture or somebody else's, where they were kind of getting into believing all this knowledge of the ancients and what to do and how to get out of this system, because there is no one right answer. But the basic rules of it is that you have to let go of your humanity, which is what they were holding on to. They were basically holding on to their traumatic past lives, and that's it. And some believe that we're here trying to undo all of that, and once you undo it, you basically beat the game and you can create your reality down here, becoming a creator. So bringing heaven on earth, which, funny enough, in the show, it's kind of what they were each doing. They were living life, having fun, and each of them came to that realization that, hey, that's what they were kind of doing, but they couldn't die in this world. That's where I go to say that the anime was very clearly referencing Earth, because this place they were in was a plane and it looked like Earth, and it was a school. And I've had many dreams where me and my soul tribe that I know were locked in a school. And funny enough, this anime manga was done back in 2010, and it's funny that my dreams are leading up with this, and it was almost like, oh my gosh, what if my dreams were telling me about this day to come, to where I would watch this and be able to share it with you. So basically, if you're someone who watches anime or manga, this is actually a great one to understand what's really going on in real life. You're basically in a never-ending cycle of reincarnation until you learn that, first you have to learn that humanity is flawed. So when you come to agree to come down here and your soul gets pulled and trapped in this body, You will go through traumatic experiences that you one day have to ascend. And that's the point. And basically, like me, even being aware of my own reincarnation and just being like a sentient program in this illusion is basically telling you that I'm aware of my own, and maybe I still haven't beat it. Some things I might still be holding on to, which is why I want to talk about the ending. So again, more spoilers. Pretty much Yuri, the main girl who leads this after death armada of kids that are stuck here. Well, that was the next thing. It was a purgatory for teenagers, and she was trying to save the youth, but the real conscious work and ancient works doesn't give a fuck about any of that. The real they actually have a book called I think it's the Astral Body, and a lot of older people remember their memories of a younger body, so their astral form appears to be the younger form of them. So sometimes when they talk about seeing like a kid version of their grandma or grandpa, or anybody says that, it's because the person in their mind is still young, so their astral form shows up as the younger version of themselves. So I don't know if that's what the anime or the manga was trying to capture, but that's the only part that I would say is kind of iffy. There's multiple, but that's one of them. So if the anime is referencing this, what we know, because you're stuck in a reincarnation cycle on Earth, then no, it doesn't matter. You're any age here, and you can die young, die old, who fucking knows. But the point is you will reincarnate here if you didn't learn a bunch of lessons, and you can reincarnate as the same person, because you can create this cycle all over again for yourself. But one part I did like, which the astral plane talks about, which again, you have to take all this knowledge and kind of make it sense for your own mind to understand, was that in the book I read that there are beings that can take you and basically ascend you, or like kind of help you go to the next level, which I think in terms of that would be returning to the source energy. So just creation where there's nothing, right? Or something like that. Though I've also heard and looked up that there is theories that there is sort of a world, like at the end of the day, I'm gonna just give you what I believe, because a lot of the things I've studied shows this. Once you realize that you're a creator, and a creator can have power on this plane, all you're doing is bringing your manifestation. When people talk about that and put the action forward, that is becoming God here. You're God here. But then after that, what do you think is more powerful than God? It would be like literally the all. So it would be like you're a giant. And that's why I made the one video talking about the song Giants. Giants were running this world. That's the whole point, is it's literally like on our backs, and the backs of people who are asleep. That's the point of waking everybody up and finally end this matrix for good, because of all this horrible shit that happens on this plane. That's the whole point of all this. You're supposed to wake more people up. But in the show, they didn't really tap into that. And it's kind of weird that they didn't, since they were it's almost like the show was literally trying to get people to reincarnate here. And trust me, you can create your own world after this. So why would you keep coming back? But I actually seen a theory video pop up referencing the thumbnail said was Otanashi, was he the programmer? Because he ends up falling in love with Angel, and that's when I want to get into my next thing. So a lot of what he was doing, of course, because you got to see it, you got to really take it, internalize it, and use, like, put yourself in their shoes. So I actually seen, and my friend did too, the way they say you should see gods is in your own life. You should be able to point out who is Ra, who is Osiris, who is like this mother goddess, who is this. That's how you need to see gods, because they're archetypes of us. They're energies that exist, but we don't pray to them. You're just praying to different aspects of yourself. You need to praise to yourself, because you are the God in human form. But anyways, the reason I say that is because, funny enough, we were like, oh, Tanashu's the programmer, because when Yuri finds the dude making all shadows out the NPCs, he says that there was a programmer that made this original programming of the reality. So this is going to get a little bit confusing, but it's literally about like how this works, and how our Earth, I'm talking about here where we are, is a copy of a copy of a copy of another copy that flipped itself and is the holographic universe. It's a flipped projection because a hologram is like flipped or whatever. So this Earth is the copy of a copy of a copy of a real Earth that existed, of like this Eden or whatever when they talk about this shit. So getting into this was when Yuri finds the dude making shadows, he doesn't even realize, well, he knows kind of why he's programmed and not, but he's kind of playing on it like he's disconnected from his emotions. So he asks her, he literally says, you're in control of how this ends because it's you, and she made it all the way here, showing that she's in control. And she was like, so you're telling me I can be God? And that was the whole point, was he was like, yeah, that's the fucking point. You guys keep externalizing it, saying who's making this happen. It's literally you. You're God. But then she ends up going like she can never do that. And then he said, okay, but he gives her the rundown of basically how all of this happened. The original programmer who made it possible that you can make anything out of just dirt, like manifest, he even tells her like, you guys have been making guns here, which I wanted to say the little problem with that, they literally could have been making food out of dirt, but instead they were getting the meal tickets. And I don't know if that was just like filler in the story, but that was like an unnecessary part if they can manifest anything from dirt. The point here is just you're manifesting elements that are formed here. So like, you know, if people want to manifest money, yada yada. So that was kind of a cool comparison, but it didn't work in the anime because they literally could have made food out of dirt then. But and they literally couldn't die. They felt pain, but they couldn't die. So I mean, like, they wouldn't necessarily ever starve to death. I don't know. But point is he was trying to tell her like, you guys have been doing it. Oh, which brings me to the next thing I want to say is they could have had powers just like Angel, because she said Angel is just human like us, which that was kind of obvious from the beginning. But they could have been using more high-tech gear if they just got control of their mind. That's what the dude was basically explaining, because he programmed all the NPCs to turn. But anyways, of course, like how it happens, she doesn't end up taking the role as God. Ends up, I don't know if she killed him. It's confusing. I think he probably just disappeared. She did shoot 2 Glocks at him at the end. I don't know though. But after she did that, basically everyone else made their choice to leave, and then like the 4 main people were left, which was Angel. Forgot the dude with the blue hair's name, but he was really cool. Loved his character. Every humor point was just on timing. I loved how they did it for the English. And Angel, then Nioa, which he understood, which is funny about saying that. Let me say that, because his thought process was exactly what you were doing here. And I want to say that too, it's not just this anime, it's actually all movies you can find drop hints on what this is, but like what we're living in. But that's the one thing I wanted to say. I'm sweating. I'm just trying to get this out because this shit was crazy. I just finished it with my bro, so it's insane. But pretty much what was it? Okay, so pretty much it was them 4 left, and they could even stay, but they chose to. I don't really understand what obliterated meant, because if they got obliterated, I think it was reincarnated, but then Angel was the one to transcend, which that's what I want to talk about, which is the guy told Yuri, the programmer who made this world where no one dies, was basically waiting for his girl to come back for him. And that's what happened when everything was a mess and he started programming the NPCs to turn into shadows, was a love infected the system. And I actually wanted to talk about that. So that's actually a theory I had here, because some of the people most of the people who know me, I always talk about love and only coming here for love. And I was confused because nothing else matters to me than that. And literally like loving yourself so that love could come. But I realized it's funny that love is one of the most twisted things here, and almost that they try to take love out of everything. And they're like a guy I reference all the time who has helped me before, B.O.B., said that love doesn't exist here. You bring it here But in the show, which was funny, was the one thing that tripped the whole system. So the original programmer ended up losing his sanity and didn't want anyone to go through it again. So he programmed basically a system where it would loop, it would not repeat itself, some shit. And that's like the kind of the power Yuri had to change. I don't know, some shit. But the whole point was at the end, when it's them 4 or 5, and they all start, they have the little graduation ceremony and start, I don't know, obliterating or reincarnating. Oh, funny, another thing is I don't know if it was Otanashi that said it'll be carved in their souls, everything they did here. That's the funny thing about soul tribes. So that's a little thing to throw in here. Like when you meet that person that you feel like you're just like, whoa, I feel like I've known you like my entire life kind of thing. That is someone that's like in your soul tribe. They are someone who incarnated with you here and you're running into them like a soulmate. So yeah, I just thought this show was insane how they like dropped little things. But pretty much, you know how it ends. They kind of all start, the last few people start disappearing, tears shed, blah, blah, blah. And some of them didn't. It was funny. They still kept their personality. And then the last people were Otanashi and Angel. And that's where I get to Otanashi being the programmer and seeing the thumbnail that popped up talking about him being the programmer. Because that's exactly what we jumped to. But I think that video was a theory video on if he was the programmer. And no, it's 100% he was the programmer. And it's not that he's the recent one, though how this whole thing works, he could be. Since we're all a part of the creator and we're all just God experiencing itself, he was just literally Otanashi experiencing it again. But this is what I'm confused about. Angel transcended, but then she was reincarnated at the end, because it's the little thing they show you. Basically, I thought she had to say I love you to him for her to leave, which was confusing because she said she could only thank him. But he said, I want you, what if we stay here and help other people that die and come through, and then we gotta, help them ascend or whatever, or fucking reincarnate. I don't know. It was confusing what obliterate and reincarnate meant, but I guess getting obliterated was reincarnating. Not fucking sure. But she basically was like, no, she doesn't want to stay there. She wanted to reincarnate or transcend, but she reincarnated, so we'll just go reincarnating. And he was like, damn. And I was like, damn, because that showed you right there that he was the programmer, because the programmer's girl left him in that world. But the difference that Otanashi made was he ended up reincarnating right after her. But whew, it's freaking insane. And the time period is a bit confusing because Angel said that she came searching for a soul like his, because on Earth he basically felt like he just did not belong the entire time, but was okay with his mediocre life, a lot like mine. And then all of a sudden his sister who had cancer died, so he lost purpose, said he was selfish because he was really just, I don't know, she living for her. Then he found a purpose to live, which was help other people. Then train crash, he ended up helping everybody before he became a true medical student, or like medical whatever the fuck, and he starved to death. And everyone else that he helped made it out the cave. Seeing that one come in was fucking crazy though, to just still see it. And pretty much that was like it. He got there and he had amnesia, which that is the next thing I gotta say. So that's what happens on Earth when you reincarnate here. You have amnesia, which is confusing about the end, because when she was singing the tune, he remembered the tune from when they were in the middle world, but their middle world is Earth. So it's a bit confusing. So don't get confused, but it's literally what they were showing in the anime is here. But the only difference is you do die here. But if you don't let go of anything that's holding you to this human life, that you can't create your own world, then when you die, you will recreate this all over again. And you'll think you're being born, living, going through school again, but literally you're reliving your life over and over and over. And you never actually moved on. Even when people think that they're creating a heaven for themselves, well, they will create that or go to heaven. They'll create that. One, if it works for them, and two, if they let go of anything human here. Because if you have anything weighing your heart down and your heart is not lighter than a feather, you will be right back here. And you'll have amnesia and won't know, like he did. He had amnesia, but when he regained his memories, he was kind of okay with what happened next, which that didn't touch on. Which is a little bit confusing on what happened to all of them. I'm assuming they all just reincarnated, which, if you see how we're living in Earth now, you would understand that you don't want to reincarnate, because you can create this all over again. And so, yeah, I doubt anybody would want to go through the whole human experience all over again. Though there's probably some, like I said, this is actually something I just came up with today. There's a lot of these spiritual teachers out here, you know, teaching people that, you know, reincarnation, teaching all that, and saying that you want to make Earth a better place. Now, I'm not lying. I would like to see Earth become a better place. But in every single timeline that I was alive, no one ever got better. So, like the ancient Egyptians thought, and, well, kind of knew, because they figured out everything. They figured out the names of the stars, everything that NASA knows. They figured it out. And the people before them did, because that's where they got their knowledge. The Atlanteans, they had advanced medicine, all this. They don't teach you that, though. And the whole point is they studied death because they did not want to come the fuck back here. And the Mayans even called themselves the Maya, because Maya stands for illusion. This is the illusionary world. They called themselves the Maya. And the Egyptians didn't even want to call themselves the Egyptians because they knew this world wasn't real. But that's pretty much it. And you see it reflected in everything. But yeah, the anime did a good job of like breaking you into this kind of occult knowledge. And occult just means hidden knowledge. So, you know, they did it very well. They did it almost like Hollywood. And, you know, I'm not even going to lie. I don't know who's really in control of like publishing the anime, but you know who's in control of Hollywood. So when they be dropping hints in movies, that be making you go like, how do they know all this? Well, you know how they know all of this, because they know what reality is. And once you learn it, they have no power over you. Basically, they're the ones trying to keep you reincarnated here, because what is it? You keep the world turning, because this is all a projection from your mind. So, you know, I really don't know what happens if there ever comes a day where we break everyone out of this and everyone wakes up from this world. Maybe Earth does get better. Maybe, I don't know. But there are people that have avatars here, which I would say are like, you know, Chris Brown and certain people, like definitely B.O.B., where they can come here to help, but they are truly not actually here. It's just their avatar playing out their life again. So they're already accomplished, which is another reason why you should make your own reality, because you're paying attention to someone who could just be a pattern who's just here to help again. Just like even Ralph, it's good though. They're helping, but they're not actually real people. They're just the patterns that are playing out in your reality again from patterns that already play out. But they could have already ascended and have their little world that they created, but their avatar is here, and they can still come back through consciously and, you know, do shit. That's what I heard about avatars. That could even be me on such a smaller scale. There's like, smaller scale. Technically, it's up to me. Maybe I'm doing it on a bigger scale, and I don't know. There's a lot of people that I have helped, so on my old channel especially. So maybe they're still around paying attention to me, and I just don't know about it. And I'm still gonna put this stuff out until I die, until you realize that this is not the stop. This is not where you want to be stopping. And the Egyptians definitely knew that, and that's why they studied death. You don't want to stop here. Think about everything that's happened here, though. Life has been good. It's good if you choose it to be good, and there's a lot of good moments. But then really think about reincarnating here every time, and then all the trauma you had to go through. It's funny to think about it, almost like life's an entire joke. But yeah, I love Angel Beats. That shit blew my mind. I never seen something get so close to anything that I've studied ever before, and that was it. And I'm pretty sure there's many movies and shit that do that, but this one was an anime done in an anime style, and I usually seen that anime get pretty close to trying to tell you. Like, someone told me about the real story of One Piece, and I didn't even know it, And I've been a fan of One Piece forever, but like how they were changing the history, that shit is just like our reality. Luffy's group is trying to like fulfill their dreams and just be free. And like shit, the main reason Luffy's even a pirate is to be free. It's just insane. It's just insane how much parallels you can draw. But yeah, Angel Beats was some shit. Yo, that like insane. Alright. Well, I'm gonna close this off because man, that took a lot to channel. I don't know if anything I said made sense, but the point is you're in an illusionary world. Wake up, get the fuck out of this shit, and if you can love and find love, good for you. If you find the divine masculine or the divine feminine half of you, hold on to that shit because it's wild out here. Peace out.